Hi friends, welcome or welcome back. This is Kitsune Tarot, and today we're going to be looking at how do people see you. So this might be the first impressions as well as how people who kind of know you see you, but just to let you know, this is going to be both positive and negative. If there is something negative that shows up, it doesn't mean this is how you truly are or who you truly are. It means that people might perceive you that way. So it's totally up to you whether you're okay with this or whether you want to change something. So you have been warned. So yeah, this is something that I really wanted to mention before I even start, because sometimes people are like, oh, your readings are so negative. You know, as a tarot reader, I'm going to tell you both positives and negatives of every situation, and it's up to you whether you decide you want to do something with that or you want to keep doing what you're doing. So that's all I wanted to add. This is a general and timeless reading, so it should resonate whenever you're watching this, just like most of my readings. And please take what resonates and leave the rest. If a message doesn't resonate with you, it means it wasn't meant specifically for you. It was maybe meant for somebody else. And if the whole reading doesn't resonate, you may want to choose another pile. So enough of this. Let's start with the piles. So this is going to be our pile number 1 with the green stone. Pile number 2 with the yellowy, grayish, orangey stone. I never remember which stone is it. I think it's a moonstone, but don't quote me on that. And pile number 3 with the crystal quartz. Please remember, in case if the reading resonates, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment, because it means so much for me and my work. And take your time picking the pile. Whenever you're ready, the timestamps are going to be in the description box down below, so you can go straight ahead to your reading. So if you need more time, you can pause this video right now. Otherwise, I'll just start with the group number 1. Hello group number 1, hope you guys are doing well. So today's reading is all about how other people see you and perceive you, whether this is, like I said, whether this is who you truly are, or whether this is what kind of a vibe you give off, whether you realize that or not. So be prepared, and this is for those of you who have chosen the green stone. So I'm going to start with the oracle cards, and then we're going to add some tarot to that. So the first card we have release. For whatever reason, I feel like some people might be calling you too emotional. For me, I really don't like when people say that, but I feel like you're somebody who is dealing with their emotions in a way they're releasing them. For some of you, it's literally like crying. Sometimes, you know, you might even feel like, I am angry, why am I crying? You know, like, I am angry, I'm not sad, but I'm crying. And people will say like, oh, you're just being too emotional. But they don't realize this is the way for you to release the anger, to release the frustration, to release every negative feeling that you actually have somewhere deep down in you. And for you, you know, some people might be shouting, some people might be screaming, some people will do sports and, you know, beat that punching bag and everything. And for you, it comes out as crying. So for some people, you might be seen as somebody who is too emotional. Please take that with a grain of salt, because this is something that I really don't like when people tell me. So I do understand if you get upset with me right now, but this is not what I mean. Like, you are not being too emotional. Just some people might call you like this, and this is the way they perceive you. And this is obviously not how your friends see you, because your friends will know that this is the way you release your emotions and not the way that you really are. But you know, sometimes when you only get to see people for a short while, like maybe, you know, you're sometimes at work or something like that, and other people that you don't really talk with very often, they see you and they see you actually crying or something like that, they might think like, oh my god, this group 1, they're so emotional. But don't take it wrong, it's like, it's a really good way. I do the same. So then we have growth. Okay, so you're also the person, people see you as somebody who is constantly growing. Maybe you're like constantly learning something new. This is what I'm picking up on. You might be somebody who's got like a foot in different things going on for you. You might be having a lot of hobbies. You might be having a lot of after school or after work activities. You might be somebody who wants to get somewhere in life. That's why you're constantly learning, you're constantly growing, and this is a fantastic thing, group number 1. because you're not somebody who is going to be just standing in one place forever. You want to go further, you want to discover new things, you definitely want to grow. And also that is also about personal growth. So not only the growth because of your business or money or career that you really want to have, it's also about your personal growth, how you grow as a person. So people who have known you for a long period of time, I feel like they can tell, oh my god, you know what, group number one, they've grown so much in this last 5 years. Like, I've known them, you know, you have no idea. They used to be like this or like that, and now look at them, they're like this or like that. So this is something that I feel like you should be really proud of, group number one, because honestly, this is this is honestly something that you can be very proud of, because you're growing as a person. You don't stay at the same place forever. You want to achieve things, and this is really great. And we have the guild. Okay, let me think about this one for a second. Okay, for some of you, I feel like you might be having a very timid personality, and you might be quite sensitive as well. You might just be struggling a lot with how you treat other people, and sometimes when you're causing or unintentional harm, or you upset somebody but it's unintentional, you might be feeling very guilty. And people, you know, people can actually catch that, and people can feel that you're somebody who is easily feeling guilty, or somebody who is really easily can easily, like, you know, feel that emotion of guilt, basically. What else am I getting from this? Just give me 1 second. Sometimes I feel like you might be thinking you're not really enough when you see and observe other people. You see everything that they're achieving, everything that they're doing with their lives. There are things that, you know, you might be envious of when it comes to other people's lives, and it's not like you're jealous of things they possess, or like partners they have, or families they have. It's more about being a person that you're kind of envying. Like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to put that in words. But it's like you see a person, you think their life is so amazing, and you kind of want to be them, and at the same time you feel like you're guilty because you're not as good as them when it comes to a lot of things. You might be feeling like, oh, I'm not as good enough at cooking as Annie, or I'm not as good at I don't know, graphic design as Tom, or something like that. So what I'm definitely getting is that a lot of people can pick that up, and they might be feeling like you're really feeling guilty about a lot of things, but you shouldn't be, you know. They might be sometimes even rolling their eyes on you and saying, but you have so many others, like so many other amazing abilities that other people don't possess. So stop, like, you know, stop talking crap, basically, you know, just get a hold of yourself. You're doing so many things that are great, you know, but you might be thinking that you'd rather be somebody else and have their life and have this kind of talent or this kind of skill, while this is not something that you're supposed to maybe have to that extent, because you have other things that you are amazing at and other things that you exceed with. And you just need to remember that. I feel like group number one, you're forgetting so easily about all of your achievements. And this makes me feel very sad, because I'm kind of similar. Whenever I achieve something, I feel like, oh, it's nothing really comparing to somebody else's, what is it called? Somebody else's like victory, or somebody else's win, or achievement, or anything like that. So group number one, this is quite interesting so far. We have this growth that really speaks to me on a very personal level, because I don't understand, like, you're so, like, I feel like for a lot of you also, you might be having a golden touch and you don't realize it. I feel like with all of the things that you know and all of the things you have learned, you can create and make so many great businesses or opportunities or something, and make them like become really like really good for you. you know, like really, really good for you, because when you're growing, there's so many things you're learning on your way, and I feel like you can now see other things differently, and with that you can see the potential in other things. That's the word I was kind of looking for, the potential in other things. So you will know, okay, like this person has got a potential to become an amazing actor, or this thing has got a great potential to become a next bestseller on Amazon, I don't know, whatever. So you've got a lot of experience in that right now, and this is definitely something I would definitely think of if I was you. So now let's move on to the tarot, and we have the Nine of Swords. Oh my gosh, yes, you're somebody quite anxious, and I feel like you might be having a lot of anxieties when it comes to your life, very often because of that guilt and feeling of not good enough, because you're comparing yourself to others. And what I'm getting for you guys is that needs to stop. Like, honestly, that needs to stop. You've got so many amazing talents and you're so good at so many things. There is this whole ladder waiting for you to climb up, but you're staying in this bed, like, you know, saying, no, I would rather stay in bed and have this victim mentality and stay guilty forever. We have Karma, which is the Judgment card. Okay, so you see, that's the thing, you definitely know how to, I want to say, resurrect things, because very often I feel like there are things that other people might think that there is no, these people have no potential, but you see them from a totally different perspective, totally different view, and that is your massive strength, group number one. So I feel like a lot of people, you know, can even, maybe they're not telling you, but I feel like you might be very good at reading people, and you kind of almost instantly know that this person would be good at this, or this person would be good at that. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when other people might be crossing somebody out of their life, or saying like, oh, they're no good, this person, you know, they don't have any skills, any talents, they're good for nothing, you know, but you're different. You see the things and people for who they really are, and you see that potential for growth in them. This is fantastic, but I feel like this is something not a lot of people know about you, and this is something that maybe your closest family or friends only know. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Also, people see you as somebody who is very patient, you know, when they say slow and steady wins the race, or I think something like this. I don't know, sorry if I messed that up. But definitely people see you as somebody also who is maybe not doing things very quickly in a very fast pace, but you've got your own pace, you know, and you're getting things done slowly, steadily, but you are getting them done in the end. And I feel like for some of you, you might be seen a little bit as of a perfectionist as well. There is this Knight of Pentacles. This is the Earth energy, so very slow moving but very steady. And the Knight of Pentacles is a oh my god, what is it? Virgo. There we go. There's a Virgo in the zodiac family. So you might be either a Virgo, or you might be having a lot of Virgo placements. So especially, no, you might be more likely a Virgo sun or rising. Doesn't have to be, but maybe Virgo sun or rising, because this is how people see you. So they see you, like I said, as somebody who is not very fast moving, but somebody who is very steady. Like when you say you're going to do something, it's like you are going to do something. It might take you a little bit longer than it would take this person or that person, but in the end you are always going to do what you said you're going to do. So this is really great. And this, oh, the Tower, ooh la la. So it's quite interesting, you know, I mean, it's really quite interesting, because people also feel, I don't think they see you, but they feel that you're actually somebody who is full of surprises, and you're somebody who is going to surprise everyone and everything one day. So definitely this is something that is going to be mind-blowing. I feel like a lot of people have this kind of expectation of you. They're not telling you that, because you might get overwhelmed with this Nine of Swords, but they know you can achieve really great things. Like I said, especially people who know you for some time. I'm not saying about the person you've met yesterday, but I'm talking about your friends who you've known for the past 15 years or something like that. They know you have massive potential. Again, there is this big potential for growth in you, group number one. And I feel like people see you, people sense that, they can tell you that, but most of them don't. But yeah, this is amazing. They feel like, and they see you as somebody who's got very often mind-blowing ideas. Somebody who is not afraid to kind of tear down the system and build things from scratch. You know, you might be somebody, I don't know why, but like an engineer came into my mind when sometimes, you know, or like, what is it called? A backward, no, it's not called backward engineering, but you know, that thing when you are dismantling something just to see how it works. And I feel like this is really something that describes you as well. Like if you don't know about something, you're gonna go to the like building point of that, and you're gonna try to rebuild that yourself just to see how it works. So that's why it might make you feel, oh my gosh, I can't speak, make you a little bit slower, but at the same time it's like in the end the result is just wow. Yeah, this is like honestly mind-blowing. You might be, at first people might have this idea of you that you're a timid person, shy person, you're easily getting what is it called, emotional, you know, but actually I feel like when people know you a little bit better, they realize that you're so much more than your packaging kind of says, because you've got so many like amazing ideas, you've got so many great talents, and I feel like it's only up to you to realize that you've got them, because people might not be telling you that. They might be thinking that they see you like this, but this is how you see yourself, I feel like. And people might be thinking like, oh, this person, at first this person is just full of anxiety and full of emotions they can't control or something, but actually you've got such a great potential for greatness, you know, that it's just terrifying. In a good way, but it's just terrifying. So yeah, this is all I've got for you, group number one, and I think it was really interesting. It was quite a short reading, but I hope it resonated, and if it did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel, because that means so much for me and my work. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello group number two, hope you guys are doing well. So today we are looking at how people see you, how do they perceive you, and whether that is, you know, something that you really are, or this is their first impression, you know, it's something like that, let's say. We'll see just how people see you, what is their perspective on you. And again, it doesn't have to be who you really truly are. It might be just the first impression, and you know, we'll see, because obviously, for example, for me, when people see me, they have different impression of me, and then when they get to know me a little bit better, they're like, oh, you're totally different than you seemed. So you see, there we go. And this is for those of you who have chosen these kind of let's say moonstone. So I'm going to start with the oracle cards, then we're going to move to the tarot and see. So we have impartiality. Okay, so definitely I feel like you're somebody that people feel and see that you're very fair. You're somebody who, you know, when people talk to, I feel like they really like talking with you, because on a lot of topics, I don't know why, but I'm getting politics, but on a lot of topics, you're very impartial. You are following, you know, the facts, the things that you know, and not saying, you're not very biased. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you're not biased when it comes to a lot of things. So whatever the news are, you know, when you meet new people, when you starting something new or trying something new, you're just not biased. And this is what people realize, you know, after they meet you for the first time. You don't care about people's religion or skin color or where they're from. You treat everyone on the same level. Everyone is equal, and this is what people really like about you, because you don't really care. To you, everybody at first is a clean slate. So So this is something extremely important, and this is something, one of the first impressions that people get about you. And once they get to know you better, I feel like this is honestly who you truly are. So they don't feel like, oh my gosh, like they lied, or like I had a different impression. Like, you're really impartial, and this is what something that people really, I feel like, admire about you, because you can be fair in any situation, and your judgment is very often very fair as well. So you don't base your judgment on some artificial or very not artificial, superficial things. Yeah. We have also insecurity. Okay, so when people meet you, I feel like they can sense you've got some kind of insecurities that you might not even realize. Oops, sorry. Sometimes, you know, we think that when we portray ourselves to others, when we present ourselves to others, you know, whether we are wearing, let's say, a human costume, where we are kind of trying to fake who we are. I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is just a general example. When we're trying to fake who we are, when we're being like fake it till you make it, you know, or fake confidence and things like that, people can actually sense that this is not the case. So if you're doing something with like fake it till you make it, I feel like people can sense something is a little bit off, but they don't know what that is. So with your insecurities, obviously everybody has them, but I feel like you might be, or for example, you know, this is what I didn't know about myself, but this is how I was coming off to my high school German teacher. And she told that to my mom, and my mom was like, oh, I've never realized that. So apparently I was trying to be like all self-confident, you know, blah blah blah, always saying, yeah, I'm fine, you know, everything is good. But she said whenever she was looking at me, I was kind of like a jellyfish, you know, in a way that she said she could always see me kind of being afraid of something, or scared of something, or like being very insecure about myself. And a lot of people, especially those who have known me for a long time, I think they got used to it, so they didn't really pay that much attention. But she said she spotted that from day one, and you know, she was asking my mom if I'm okay with my self-image or things like that, which I wasn't at that time. Because she can sense a lot of insecurities in me. So you see, people like that exist. So a lot of people might not be paying attention to something about you, or people who know you know that, for example, you don't like your hair, or you don't like something about yourself. But for whatever reason, people who are new in your surroundings, they can sense that you've got some kind of insecurity, but they don't know what that is. So be very careful about that. And I'm not saying that with like, oh, be careful. I'm saying that with a lot of, with a lot of love, you know, to yourself. Like, working on our insecurities is really nothing bad or nothing to be ashamed of. I think sometimes, you know, when we get rid of one insecurity, we might find another thing about us or about our lives that we feel insecure about. So I think it's just very important not to give into that, if you know what I mean, and just constantly working on ourselves, improving how we perceive ourselves, how we because it's honestly, I don't like when people say fake it till you make it. It's kind of literally, to me, it's like, you know, you don't have to really improve yourself, just keep lying to yourself and keep lying to others. Maybe it's not about that. I'm not saying, oh, you know, it has to be like this, but this is something that not everybody can do. So just lovingly working on your insecurities, I think that would have changed the way people see you greatly. Because right now they can sense something is there, but they can't really pinpoint what that is, especially for very new people in your life. Oh my god, and we have the facade. So this is exactly what I was trying to say, so I'm not really go very deeply into this card, because you have kind of built a facade around, like, around you. Well, not really around you. Like, you are, I feel like you're afraid to show who you really are, because I feel like very deep inside you might be very empathetic, and you are kind of afraid that people will either use you or maybe laugh at you for whatever reason, or just take it as your weak spot. but I feel like you've got a really big heart, and I feel like you might be having a really big heart for humans, for animals, for the environment, you know, it doesn't really matter. But I feel like you're kind of afraid to show it. So you have built that facade so nobody can get through it, really. You might be, you know, coming off as somebody who doesn't really care. Yeah, this is all I can say about this card, because I just feel like, you know, you have kind of built a wall around you, and you don't want to let people through to see who they really are. And I feel like inside you're this really loving, warm person who is just afraid to show their real feelings for whatever reason. Okay, so now let's go to the tarot cards and see how else people see. Okay, we have the Eight of Wands. Interesting. So I feel like, you know, people might also perceive you as somebody who is doing things very quickly, like this, you know, like this, chop chop. You might be somebody who is talking very fast, moving very fast, replying very fast, but I feel like it has to do more with your insecurities than anything else, really. But this is like one of the impressions people get about you, that you're doing things really fast, and you're kind of like, you know what your goal is, you know where you're going, and you know, you're just in the middle of that journey to get to the end result. Whether that is true or not, I'm just saying how people see you. So we also have the Five of Cups. Yes, see, with this insecurities, that makes perfect sense. So with that, definitely people can sometimes see you as somebody who is having, like, I don't know why I want to say emotional breakdowns. I don't know if it's that deep. Maybe it is for some of you. For some of you, maybe it's a little bit like, you know, they're having a bad day. Group 2 is having a bad day or something. But for some of you, you know, you might be literally giving off the vibe of don't come near me because I'm really depressed. Whether that is true or not, and I'm not making fun of people who have depression, honestly, I'm not. Believe me or not, I'm not. Because it's a very serious thing. But I feel like for some of you, people might be thinking like, oh, you know what, they are also very negative, they're only focusing on negative things, you know, whatever negative happens, they will be only talking about that. If you ask them, oh, how are you, they're gonna say like, oh, I'm not too well, or I'm not too good. So also be very wary of this kind of image. Sometimes it's better to say I'm okay, thank you, how are you, or like, yeah, I'm good, I'm surviving, I'm getting there, you know, something like that, instead of just maybe telling people that you're not feeling very well today or that there is something that you're thinking of and it makes you feel kind of sad and makes you feel kind of down. Sometimes it's honestly the best to keep these things to yourself, and I'm not saying that you should lie to others and not be yourself, but this is something I feel like you can work on, just to be a little bit more positive. Focus a little bit on more positive things, because right now some people might say, oh my god, group 2, they're always so negative, they only talk about negative things. So that might be a part of your facade, actually. We have the Fool. Oh my gosh, okay, so people might see, okay, I'm getting this as two different things. For some of you, people might be thinking that you're very young. Like, honestly, you might be, I don't know, in your 40s, and still people ask you for your ID whenever you go to the shop. Like, trust me, I'm 33 and I'm asked for ID when I'm buying energy drinks or something, which is crazy, but yeah, it's good, I guess. But yeah, some people think that you're really young, you've got a really like baby face, and they might be asking you for ID. They might be thinking like, when you tell them like, oh, I'm this and that, or they're gonna be like, no way, shut up, you know, like, you look 20 years younger, you look 10 years younger or something, which is a blessing, honestly. I know sometimes it's really annoying, especially when you don't have your ID on you. But that's a really, really great thing, and I feel like you might be surprising a lot of people with your actual age. For some of you, you might be somebody, you might look like somebody who is a risk taker as well. with the Fool card, because the Fool is all about trying new things and starting things anew. So for some of the people, when they meet you and when they talk to you, I feel like they might be thinking like, oh my god, group 2, they're taking such a big risk, or they have taken such a massive risk by doing this or that, by moving to a big city by themselves, by leaving their country, by starting everything from scratch, you know, by doing something. So this is really good, but I feel like, you know, this is, you know, I feel like you're not that much of a risk taker, or at least you don't see yourself as somebody who is taking a lot of risks in their lives. But for a lot of people, you might really seem like you are. For some of you, I'm also getting that people are very interested in you when it comes to how you look and your fashion. Like your fashion sense, basically. So people might be attracted to how you look like, and they will always tell you this is so innovative and different and you look so interesting. So that's another thing. And the last thing we have is the King of Wands. So that kind of matches with having these insecurities and this facade, because the King of Wands is somebody who's got a lot of self-confidence. So guys, honestly, you inside might be like this jellyfish a little bit, so your insecurities need to be worked on, and I'm saying that with lots of love, because I am in the same boat as you guys. I totally understand, and I've been in the same boat since I remember, since I was a kid, you know, and there was always something that I wanted to change about myself, I didn't like about myself. So I have built this facade that I don't really care and I don't give a damn about what other people think. And even though I was not really giving a damn what other people think, in the same time I wanted somebody to approve of me. So I totally get what you mean. I mean, what you mean, what you are, or you might be, sorry. So people see you as somebody who is, yeah, who is very self-confident as well. Which is good, but at the same time I feel like there might be small thing that you need to take into consideration, because some of the people, this is for some of you again, might think that you're not really afraid to use others to your advantage. So they might be thinking you're using others as you wish. So I'm not saying that they think you're being manipulative, but there might be thinking like you're delegating too much. Like you want something to be done, so you're not doing that yourself, but you're gonna ask others to do it for you, kind of thing, which again doesn't have to be true at all. It might be just the way some people see you. So this is all I've got for you for today, group number 2, and I hope it was helpful and it was fun, at least to watch. And if it did resonate, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel, because that means so much for me and the work I put into this channel. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello group number 3, hope you guys are doing well. So today's reading is all about how do people see you, how do they perceive you. Sometimes it might be their first impression of you, and this again doesn't have to be who you truly really are. This is how some people might see you. So yeah, and this is for those of you who have chosen the crystal quartz. Again, this might not be 100% who you are. This might be the vibe you give off. So don't be too worried if you don't like what you see. I'm going to start with the oracle cards, and then we're going to move into the tarot. The first card is the impasse. But I see that as more like a very positive card, because I feel like people might see you as somebody who has actually gone through a lot of obstacles, and also somebody who is like pushing through the obstacles. So they might see as somebody who's actually very strong. For some of you, it might be even your physical look. You might be looking very strong. You might be, I don't know, going to the gym, having a lot of muscles or something like that. You might be built more sturdy, and people will see that and think like, oh my god, like this person, group 3 is really strong, isn't it? So I definitely feel like something like this. Also, what I'm getting from this card for you guys is that once again, that whenever you see any obstacles in the road, you're like, you're not afraid of that, you're just attacking it, you're going like straight onto it, and you're like, you know what, whatever happens happens, I'm just gonna push, and everything is going to turn the way I want. So it's really interesting, because once again, I don't see that card as something negative. I see that you're somebody, like, people see you as somebody who's pushing through obstacles instead of stopping by them. We have the soulmate card. Okay, so people might also perceive you as somebody who is very romantic. You might be talking very often about concepts such as soulmates, such as twin flames, third eye. You might be very spiritual, or at least that's how some people will see you. You know, you might be talking a lot about, I don't know, I'm getting like chakras, or yeah, basically like spiritual awakening. I'm really picking that up from this card, that you're somebody who seems to be very, well, maybe you really are, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, who seems to be very spiritual, and who seems to know what they're talking about. Definitely somebody who is very romantic. Maybe you look also very romantic. Maybe you have very romantic style, or how you present yourself to others. But I'm definitely seeing, you know, that some people might see you, or might meet you and think like, oh, you're very into this woo-woo stuff. You know what I mean? So people might be actually attracted to you, especially those who also have the same interests. And I feel like this is a part of your soul tribe, soul family, however you want to call that. But definitely, you know, there's a lot of people being attracted to you. And people who are attracted to you, they are a part of your soul tribe. They might be there just for a day, they might be there for a month, they might be there for your whole life, you never know. But a lot of people you meet on your life, I feel like they're also going through some things, and you kind of help them with their own obstacles. So they see you as somebody who is very helpful and very helping as well when it comes to things like that. So this is fantastic, group number 3. And we also have creation. Okay, this is a very spiritual card as well, I have to say, when I look at this. So you're also being seen as somebody who is super creative, especially, once again, I'm picking up really strongly that spiritual vibe. So I feel like for some of you, you might be even dressing up as, like, you know, including that spiritual interests. We have somebody who looks like a shaman over here, so you might be including some kind of accessories, or some kind of I don't know, pieces of clothing, or like the image of also like spiritual belief that you're into. And people kind of really think that it's super attractive and it's super super interesting. But you're definitely, you know, you're creating a lot, and people see that you're creating, especially, I feel like, a lot of positive energy. I feel like you're somebody that people, when people see, they think, oh my god, you know what, this group 3, this is a really positive person, you know, they have this amazing vibe. And even when I see the smoke or whatever that is coming through here, I feel like this is kind of your vibe, and it's making people come closer to you. Oh, for some of you, I just heard, you know, you smell nice. You know, and I'm picking that up from that card as well now too, that, you know, there is something about you have I don't know whether it's your perfumes, or I don't know, your shower gel or something like that, your shampoo maybe, but there is something about you, you know, that people might think like, oh my god, group 3, they really smell super nice. So I don't know what that is, but keep using it. Because it's like a really nice scent. There is something about your scent that is really nice, and people really like when they first meet you, or their first impression of you, that you smell nice. You might be hearing that sometimes, I feel like. People might be even telling you that, oh, you smell so nice. So now I'm going to move on to the tarot cards. We have the Ace of Wands. Again, this is a very creative energy, so it makes sense with the creation. I feel like, you know, you're somebody that when people see, when people meet, they think you're very creative. And I feel like there is something about you that is very like artistic. When people see you, they think you are some kind of an artist as well. You know, maybe I feel like this is because of the way you look. there is something about you that maybe it's your style or your sense of fashion, something that tells other people I am artistic, I like creating things. For some of you, I'm even getting that you are creating your own clothes or accessories and people really like it and they feel really drawn to you just by something like this. And when you tell them, when they stop you and when you tell them like, oh, I've made that myself, they're like, whoa, group 3, oh my god, like they're so creative. I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, how did you do it yourself? How did you create that yourself? This is so fantastic. But I feel like at the same time, you are not somebody who is very boastful and you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, it's actually quite easy. You know, like it was just really easy and I'm sure you would do it yourself as well. But yeah, like you have this spark of creation, a spark of creativity. And I feel like you have this spark of life in general in you that people really, really feel like they just want to talk to you, they want to come to you because there is something about you that makes them feel like you're having some kind of a magnetic attraction. So we have the Two of Pentacles. So people also see you as somebody who is very well balanced, and I this is about a lot of things, okay? Because for some of you, I'm getting really well balanced look. I seriously, I don't know, like, I know there is so much more to you than just how you look, but this is like people's first impressions and this is how people might see you, how they perceive you, but they see you as somebody who is very well put together, let's say. So you're always somebody who is achieving that balance in their life. Same with like work and social life balance, work and love, family and I don't know, chores and things like that. I feel like people definitely, you know, their impression of you is that you're so well put together and you're creating and achieving so much balance in your life. And I feel like a lot of them, they're like, oh, I wish I was like group number 3. Like they're really good at maybe scheduling things or you know, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be or on time it is supposed to be, all the things like that. And I mean, like, this is something that I feel like it's very, very sane about you, that you like things to be done in a certain way, so you have enough of time for that me time or to spend with your family or friends or something. So whenever you have to do something, most of the time you will get to do it and then spend time with your loved ones or at something you like doing, maybe creating things. And we have the Page of Swords. Okay. So for some of you, you might also be coming off as somebody who is a little bit harsh with their language. You know, all of the words that you might be using might be a little bit of a potty talk, let's say. But it's like, to me personally, I don't mind, but there are some people that might be feeling like, oh, you're using too much of that word, or you know, it's just so not you to be using this kind of language. You don't look like a person who would use this kind of language. So this is quite interesting. But I feel like for a lot of you also, you are very well informed about things, and that might be very surprising to people. I feel like especially in the spiritual scene, like for example, somebody says like, oh my god, you know what, you will not believe what happened, you know what, my phone didn't ring this morning because I don't know what happened, but when I woke up my battery was dead and it was charging the whole night. And you're like, oh yeah, that's because it's Mercury retrograde or something like that. And people will be staring at you like, what, like, how do you know about these things? So I feel like you're very well informed in the things, all things spiritual. So that is quite interesting about you, group number 3. And the last card we have is 7 of Swords. Okay, just let me think for a second about this one. Because you might be coming off as somebody who is a little bit sneaky, but I don't sense that in a very negative way or something. It's maybe somebody sneaky who's got, I don't know, I'm really drawn to this guy's smile for whatever reason, and I feel like some people might be saying that, you know, you've got a very sneaky smile, or when you have this kind of face expression of a child who is up to no good. This is seriously what I'm getting. I know this is funny, but yeah, so some people might be saying like, oh, you look like you're up to no good, or you look like you're planning something, you know, and this is not, like, you might not be doing that. This might be just your facial expression that you make. Sometimes I feel like for those of you, when you are nervous, you might be making a funny face expression, and people will think like, oh, they're up to no good, or they're up to do something, like, or say something. So that's quite interesting. But yeah, I feel like this sneaky smile, I'm getting fox-like smile. I don't know why. Like foxy smile, something like that. Or you might be looking very foxy. For some of you, I'm getting that. You might be even hearing that sometimes from people, like you look very foxy. But yeah, this is all about maybe like the first impression, or like impression of people who don't know you very well. But I feel like this is very charming about you, because you honestly, when you make that face of a child that is kind of like thinking about something and planning something, you know, that it makes you look even more adorable, because I feel like you're very adorable anyways, and you know, your personality is very adorable. But with this, when you launch this smile, it's kind of like everyone is like, oh my god, this is so cute. But you know, this is so like, this is so cute basically. Okay guys, so this is all I've got for you for today, and I hope it was fun to watch. If it did resonate, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.